Welcome to lesson 11.11. You may notice that this is a little bit different depending on the year that you're viewing this recording. For the spring of 2020, we actually skipped the lesson that goes with number 3. However, we could figure that out just by looking at the picture here. There are the length of boxes are 2 boxes, and the width is 3, and the height is 4. So that would give us 24 boxes, and each box has 175 cubic inches. So when we multiply that out, you could have come up with that. If you didn't get that, that is not going to be a big deal since we skipped that lesson this year. Go ahead and take a look at the rest of the problems here. If you have questions, I can be reached through email, or feel free to join us for the Zoom meeting as we go over this. Today's learning goal is to find the volume of rectangular prisms that are combined. So what you're going to find is there's more than one way to solve these problems. In the end, we just want to make sure that we have the correct answer. So we will be taking a look at complex prisms, or compound actually is the better word, prisms. Let's unlock the problem together. The shape at the right is a composite figure. It is made up of 2 rectangular prisms that are combined. How can you find the volume of the figure? Well, we're going to use addition for this first one. So if we take a look, we have 2 prisms here. We could break this right across so that we have, as it shows in the picture here, a blue prism, rectangular prism, and a green rectangular prism. And then we're just going to figure out the volume of each one of those and add it together. So in this case, the volume here is going to be, let me take a look. Oh, they're not asking us for volume here. They're asking us to find the measure. So the height of the whole figure here is 6 inches. But this portion of it, we can come over here and see that it is 2 inches. So that would mean that this has to be 4 inches right here. So when we figure the volume of this, it would be 4 times 2 times 4 would be the volume here. And 4 times 2 is 8 times 4 is, I believe, 32. So the volume of the green box would be 32. Oh, this page looks different than the one in my book, so hopefully this matches your book. And then if we figure the volume of this blue rectangular prism, we have 10 times 4, that would give us the base, that's 40, times 2, and that would be 80. Then we're going to just add those 2 volumes together, and that should give us 80 plus 32 is going to be 2 and 112 cubic inches. So 112, it's all measured in inches, and because it is volume, it's cubic. So what is another way you could divide the composite figure into 2 rectangular prisms? Well, here we divided it in right across here. But we could have divided it, if we take a look here, let me change colors, we could have divided it this way. And if we had done that, then we would have taken this 2 inches off here. This would have become 8 by 4 by 2. And this one would have been 6 by 4 by 2. So that's how the rectangular prisms would have changed. And they have those in a little bit different order, but that would be the dimensions that would be used. Here's another way. You can subtract the volumes of prisms formed in empty spaces from the greatest possible volume to find the volume of the composite figure. So what we could do is figure out this whole thing, even this space that really is just filled with air here. So if that were the case, we would have a length of 10 inches. We would have a width of 4 inches, but this time, not this 2 inches for height. We want the whole thing, and that measure is right here, so that would be 6. So if we multiply this out, we would find that we would have 10 times 4 would make our base 10 times 4, and that's going to be 40. And then we multiply that by the height, which is 6. And when we multiply that out, we should get 240 cubic inches. So that's the whole thing, but that's not the volume that we have. So now we have to go in and figure out the volume of the air or this space in here. So we have to think, if this whole thing is 10 and this part is 2, then the part that's left, 2 plus 8 would equal 10. So the length is 8. The width is still the same. It's the same width all the way across there, so that would be 4. And the height, we want just the part that is missing here, so that would be a height of 4. We're going to think about this whole thing was 6. This part here is going to be, yeah, it's listed up here, is 2. So 4 take away 2 would be, 6 take away 2 would be 4. All right, anyway, so 8 times 4, that's 32. 32 times 4 is going to be 8, is going to be 128. So this space right here has, oopsie. That wasn't very good, sorry, has a volume of 128 cubic inches. All right, so we're going to subtract this space from the whole space that we figured. So we started with 240 when we imagined that it was an entire large rectangular prism. We subtract the part that is missing, which is 128. I don't like to do that side by side. I like mine stacked up. So I'm going to come over here. This is a 3. This is 10. Now a 9. 1, 1, 1. Oops, did I do something wrong here? I did not need to change that. Oh my goodness, what a silly mistake that was. I just needed to leave that as, oops, let's start again. 240 minus 128. All right, I can't subtract 8 from 0, so I regroup. This becomes 3 10s. Now this is just simply 10. I don't have to rename that. That was my silly mistake from earlier. 10 subtract 8 is 2. 3 subtract 2 is 1. And 2 subtract 1 is 1. So we have 112 cubic inches, which is the same that we had on the first one. So we know that we've got a good system for working that out. All right, so what I would like to do is for you to give a try this, pause the video, and then check back. All right, I'm actually going to work through this with you so you can see my reasoning and my thinking. For me, it seemed most easy to start with rectangular prism B. I labeled it B just so that we could be sure to clearly communicate. This whole composite figure is 12 feet, right? This figure up here, this 5 feet, that's just this portion of it right here. This is 5 feet, all right? And this is going to show the width of all of the prism. So each one of these would have a width of 5 feet. Oops, 5 feet. Okay, so here we have a length of 5 feet, a width of 5 feet. Now I have to figure out its height. Well, in fact, this whole thing matches up with this line over here, so it would be 8 feet. So I could multiply 5 times 5 to find the base area, that's 25. And 25 times 8, I'm going to think about that as quarters. 4 quarters make 100. So 8 quarters would equal 200. So the volume of rectangular prism B is 200. Now I can go back and look at A. I know that this line here goes with the length, so it is 3 feet. All of them were 5 feet. And this one shows me that it was 4 feet in its height. So 3 times 5 would give me the area of the base. That's 15. I need to have 4 15s. 15 plus 15 is 30. If I double that to get 4 15s, that would be 60 cubic feet. And then I'm left with this little prism on the end. We can see that it has, well, let's see, we had a 3 and a 5. That is 8. So from here to here, that was 3 feet. This was 5 feet, that's 8. The whole thing is 12. So that means from here to here has to be 4 feet. And the width is still 5 feet. This time the height is this, this figure goes with this line right here. So it would be 2 feet. So 4 times 5 for the area of the base would be 20 feet. 20 times a height of 2, 20 times 2 is 40 cubic feet. Now I simply add these up. I have 60 plus 200 plus 400. I'm going to put these, regroup them a little bit and say, all right, I want to add 60 plus 40. That gives me 100 plus 200 more. That means that the volume of this particular composite prism is 300 cubic feet. Go ahead and pause the video, work through number 1, then check back for answers. As we look at this composite figure, we'll call this part A. The volume here has a length of 2, that's shown right here, a width of 4, that's shown right here, and a height. The whole thing is 5. This part is 2, so the height of A would be simply 3. 2 times 4 is 8 for the area of our base. 8 times 3 is 24. So the volume of A is 24 cubic inches. On B, we have a length of 8, a width of 4, and a height of 2. 8 times 4 for the base would be 32, times a height of 2 would be 64. Then we simply add those together to get 88 cubic inches, or 88 inches cubed. Pause the video and work through number 2. All right, really the most difficult part is learning how to read the diagram. If I look at prism A, I can see that it has a length of 3. The width is shown here. They point to this, but you know, both of those are congruent. So it would be 2, and the height is all the way over here with this 1, because we can see that this is equal all the way across. So the volume of A is 6 centimeters cubed, or 6 cubic centimeters. Then prism B, here's the length here and the width here. So 6 times 7, that would give me a base of 42, and then a height, that's just 1, so multiplying by 1 would be 42 cubic centimeters. When I add those together, I get 48 centimeters cubed, or 48 cubic centimeters. Go ahead and jump into today's math lesson online. If you have questions, be sure and be in contact with me. Have a great day.